Have you ever felt an inexplicable presence when kneeling before the Blessed Sacrament? That sudden warmth in your chest, that unexpected tear rolling down your cheek, or that profound peace that seems to come from nowhere? These aren't just emotions, they're sacred encounters. And today I'll reveal what Padre Pio actually saw happening in that holy moment when we approach the Eucharist. This revelation changed thousands of lives and might forever transform your relationship with God. If you've ever wondered why some people experience the divine while others feel nothing, stay until the end. The last revelation is the most powerful one Padre Pio shared with only his closest confidants. Before we continue, if you believe in the power of the Blessed Sacrament, write in the comments, "Jesus, I adore you, present in the Eucharist." Your faith declaration helps spread this message to those who need it most. What exactly happens in those sacred moments before the tabernacle? For most of us, it seems like nothing extraordinary. We kneel, pray, and perhaps feel a sense of reverence. But through Padre Pio's mystical gifts, we can glimpse beyond the veil of ordinary perception. This humble Capuchin friar, whose hands bore the wounds of Christ for over 50 years, was blessed with an extraordinary vision. He could see the supernatural reality hidden from our limited human senses. "When I stand before the Blessed Sacrament," Padre Pio once confided to a spiritual son, "I see such glory that no words could ever describe it." If people knew what happens at that moment, churches would be overflowing day and night. The truth is that a profound transformation begins the moment you approach the Eucharist with faith. Something happens not just around you, but within you. And today, through the mystical eyes of Padre Pio, I'm going to take you on a journey to discover what truly happens in that sacred moment. Revelations that might forever change how you experience the presence of God. Padre Pio explained that the space around the Blessed Sacrament is never empty. Countless angels gather in perpetual adoration, bowing before the King of Kings. They form a heavenly court that surrounds the host, creating a shield of pure devotion. According to Padre Pio, these angels don't just passively adore, they actively transmit graces to those present who open their hearts. The angels are God's messengers, he would say, carrying our prayers upward and bringing divine blessings downward. This invisible exchange happens continuously, whether we perceive it or not. Think about that. Right now, in every tabernacle around the world, this celestial gathering is taking place, waiting for souls to join in worship. Padre Pio often described seeing angels flanking the altar during Mass, their faces reflecting the glory emanating from the Eucharist. During the consecration, when bread and wine become the body and blood of Christ, he witnessed these heavenly beings prostrating themselves in profound adoration. Their presence intensifies the sacred space, creating what Padre Pio called a cathedral of light around the tabernacle. This angelic reality explains why many sensitive souls report feeling a distinct atmosphere in churches where the Blessed Sacrament is reserved. That subtle pressure in your chest, that feeling of walking into a thicker atmosphere. These are echoes of the angelic presence that Padre Pio perceived with perfect clarity. Our souls sense what our eyes cannot see. Even more astonishing is what Padre Pio observed about our personal guardian angels in the presence of the Eucharist. He saw that when we approach the Blessed Sacrament, our guardian angel bows deeply and steps slightly aside, creating a direct channel between us and Christ. This angel then assumes a protective stance, shielding us from distractions and spiritual interferences that might interrupt this sacred communion. Have you ever found yourself unexpectedly thinking of someone while in adoration? Padre Pio would explain that this is often your guardian angel bringing this person to your spiritual attention, inviting you to include them in the graces of the moment. Nothing before the Blessed Sacrament is coincidental. Even your thoughts are being gently guided toward divine purposes. The most beautiful aspect of what Padre Pio witnessed was how our presence before the Eucharist brings joy to these heavenly beings. "The angels rejoice," he once said, "when even one soul joins their eternal adoration." Your decision to spend time before the Blessed Sacrament literally brightens the celestial court. Have you noticed how some saints seem to be physically affected by the Eucharist? Teresa of Avila levitated during adoration. Catherine of Siena survived on nothing but the host for years. These weren't isolated miracles. They were visible manifestations of an invisible reality that Padre Pio witnessed daily. He saw that when we approach the Blessed Sacrament with genuine faith, a profound transformation begins. The very atoms of our being start to align with divine presence. A luminous exchange occurs, our humanity touching divinity, creating a sacred bridge between heaven and earth. Padre Pio described seeing a gentle light emanating from the host, reaching out like golden rays toward those in prayer. These rays didn't touch everyone equally. They seemed to seek out those whose hearts were most receptive. "The Lord respects our freedom," Padre Pio explained. "He never forces himself upon us. He stands at the door of our hearts and knocks, waiting to be invited in. Those who came with sincere hearts, regardless of their past sins or present struggles, received these rays most abundantly. The light would envelop them, working invisibly to heal spiritual wounds, strengthen virtues, and impart wisdom that transcends human understanding." The transformation that occurs during Eucharistic adoration happens in layers, beginning from the outside and gradually penetrating to our core. First, our thoughts begin to slow and our emotions settle, like muddy water becoming clear when left undisturbed. This explains the immediate sense of peace many experience. Then at a deeper level, our will, our capacity to choose, becomes gradually aligned with God's will. This is why regular adorers often report finding clarity for difficult decisions after spending time before the Blessed Sacrament. Most profoundly, Padre Pio witnessed a transformation at the level of the soul itself, what he described as a divine imprinting. Just as wax takes the impression of a seal, our souls receive the imprint of Christ's presence, becoming more configured to him. This explains why people who regularly spend time in adoration often begin to reflect Christ's attributes more clearly in their daily lives. Greater patience, selfless love, unexpected courage, and a peace that persists even in trials. One of the most beautiful transformations Padre Pio observed was how past wounds begin to heal in the Eucharistic presence. He saw that when people brought their deepest hurts before the Lord, often without even mentioning them in prayer, the light from the host would gently surround these wounded areas of their souls, beginning a restoration that sometimes took months or years to complete. The most profound healing, he would say, often happens in silence beyond words, when we simply expose our brokenness to the divine physician. This healing light affects not just our spiritual dimension, but can extend to our physical bodies as well. Padre Pio witnessed countless physical healings originating from time spent before the Blessed Sacrament, some immediate and dramatic, others gradual and subtle. He understood that the body and soul are intimately connected, and that divine life flowing into the soul eventually brings restoration to the body as well, according to God's wisdom and timing. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this transformation is that it continues even after we leave the physical presence of the Eucharist. Padre Pio explained that each encounter with the Blessed Sacrament plants seeds that continue to grow, often bearing fruit days, weeks, or even years later. Your time there is never wasted, even when you feel nothing at all. If you desire to deepen this connection and experience more of these mystical realities that Padre Pio revealed, we've prepared something special for you. Our ebook, The Spiritual Secrets of St. Padre Pio, contains powerful prayers, reflections based on his teachings, and practical advice to strengthen your spirituality. This resource will help you understand the profound mysteries we're discussing today and apply them to your daily spiritual life. The book includes Padre Pio's guidance on developing a deeper relationship with the Eucharist, recognizing spiritual movements in your soul and cultivating the receptivity needed to experience God's presence more fully. Thousands have already found this treasure helpful in transforming their prayer lives and deepening their spiritual connection. Click the link pinned in the comments to access this special resource that can help you experience the profound presence we're discussing today. Now let's continue with what Padre Pio witnessed happening within us during these sacred moments of adoration. One of Padre Pio's most remarkable testimonies comes from a night in 1918 when he was praying alone in the monastery chapel. He witnessed the Blessed Sacrament radiating with such intensity that the entire sanctuary seemed ablaze. In that luminous moment, he saw countless souls, some he recognized as having died years before, gathering around the host in worship. They moved in and out of the light, being purified and transformed. The Eucharist, he later explained to his spiritual director, is the center not just of this world, but of purgatory and heaven as well. It is the beating heart of the entire mystical body. This vision revealed that Eucharistic adoration has effects that extend beyond our earthly realm, offering solace and purification even to souls in purgatory. Padre Pio often taught that when we adore the Blessed Sacrament, we join a communion that transcends time and space. Our prayers unite with those of the Church triumphant in heaven, the Church suffering in purgatory, and the Church militant on earth. This explains the profound sense of connection many experience during adoration. In that moment, the veil between worlds grows thin, and we participate in the eternal worship that will be our heavenly occupation. This reality helps us understand why the simplest prayer before the Eucharist can have such tremendous power. Your humble adoration, joined with the perfect worship of angels and saints, becomes amplified beyond measure. Padre Pio would compare it to a single drop of water falling into an ocean of grace. It merges with something infinitely greater than itself. Even more profound is what Padre Pio observed happening to our interior spiritual landscape during adoration. He saw that prolonged exposure to the Eucharistic presence gradually restructures our souls, creating what he called sacred pathways through which divine grace can flow more freely. This explains why regular adorers often develop heightened spiritual sensitivity over time. Their souls have been rewired to receive God's communications more clearly. The transformation doesn't happen all at once, but in gentle, almost imperceptible stages. Like a master sculptor working patiently on marble, the Eucharistic presence chips away at our hardness, removes impurities, and gradually reveals the divine image hidden within. Padre Pio would often counsel those disappointed by not feeling immediate effects. The most profound work of grace happens invisibly, like the growth of roots beneath the soil. You may not see the change day by day, but suddenly you will discover that your spiritual life has developed in ways you never imagined. Perhaps the most beautiful aspect of what Padre Pio witnessed was how Eucharistic adoration affects our relationship with others. He saw that as a person sat before the Blessed Sacrament, the light emanating from the host would gradually extend beyond them, stretching out to touch the lives of people connected to them, family members, friends, even those they had difficulty loving. This explains why many report that after committed time in adoration, their relationships begin to heal and transform, often without any direct action on their part. This ripple effect of grace extends even further than we might imagine. Padre Pio insisted that a single hour of genuine adoration could impact an entire community, as the grace received by one soul overflows to nourish others. God's economy is not like human economy, he would explain. In the spiritual realm, what one receives, many can share without diminishment. This is why the presence of even one committed adorer in a parish can become a hidden wellspring of grace for countless others. But what prevents us from experiencing these profound realities? Padre Pio identified several obstacles that block our spiritual senses. The most common is distraction. Our minds, racing with worldly concerns, even as we kneel before the Lord. The noise of the world, he would say, drowns out the whisper of God. Another barrier is unconfessed sin that weighs on the soul like a heavy blanket, dulling our spiritual perception. Pride, too, creates a tremendous obstacle, approaching God with self-sufficiency rather than childlike trust. Padre Pio himself would spend hours preparing for Mass and Eucharistic adoration, purifying his intention and emptying himself of all that wasn't God. Come before him empty, he advised, so that he can fill you completely. This emptying wasn't about achieving some perfect spiritual state, but rather about honest acknowledgement of our need for God. He taught that humility creates the ideal conditions for divine encounter. The friar also noticed that many people sabotage their adoration experience by overthinking. They become so concerned with having the right thoughts or feelings that they miss the simple reality of being present with the Lord. His advice was refreshingly straightforward. Just be there. Your presence itself is a prayer. This approach liberates us from the pressure to perform spiritually and opens us to authentic encounter. A woman once traveled from America to see Padre Pio, devastated that she felt nothing during prayer despite her faithful practice. After confessing to him, she asked why God seemed absent to her. Padre Pio smiled gently and said, "My daughter, when you stand before the Blessed Sacrament, don't try to feel God. Simply know that he feels you. Your presence there is already a prayer. Your faithfulness, despite feeling nothing, is more precious to him than all the emotions in the world." The woman later wrote that this understanding transformed her prayer life completely. She stopped seeking spiritual consolations and simply offered her presence, and paradoxically began experiencing profound encounters with God. Padre Pio also addressed the common problem of physical discomfort during adoration. Many find that bodily pain, fatigue, or restlessness prevents deep prayer. His counsel was both practical and profound. Offer these very discomforts as your adoration. When your knees ache, he would say, let that pain become your prayer. When your mind wanders, let your gentle return to focus become your offering. This transforms our very struggles into pathways of communion. Perhaps the most difficult obstacle is spiritual dryness, those periods when God seems distant and prayer feels empty. Padre Pio experienced these dark nights himself, despite his extraordinary gifts. Yet he insisted these times can be the most fruitful of all. It is in darkness that faith is purified, he taught. When you feel nothing, but remain faithful anyway, your adoration reaches its highest form. The absence of spiritual consolation becomes an invitation to love God for himself alone, not for his gifts. Now here comes the most astonishing revelation that Padre Pio shared about what happens when we approach the Blessed Sacrament. He described seeing Christ himself emerging from the host to personally embrace each adorer. This wasn't just symbolic. Padre Pio witnessed Jesus extending his sacred hands to touch the head of each person, blessing them with precisely what they needed most, whether they realized it or not. Some received healing for physical ailments, others received clarity for difficult decisions. Still others received the grace to forgive deep wounds. But most profoundly, Padre Pio saw that every single person received a unique imprint of divine love, a sacred seal that marked them as having encountered the living God. No one, Padre Pio insisted, leaves the presence of the Eucharist unchanged. Even if they feel nothing, a transformation occurs at levels too deep for human perception. This spiritual reality explains why many people report feeling inexplicably different after spending time in adoration. Their problems haven't disappeared, their circumstances haven't changed, yet something within them has shifted. According to Padre Pio, this is because the Eucharist works at the level of our eternal soul, recalibrating our spiritual DNA to more closely resemble Christ's. This work happens slowly, imperceptibly, like seeds growing underground long before any sprout appears. Padre Pio witnessed that during adoration, Christ's gaze penetrates to our inmost being, seeing not just who we are, but who we are meant to become. His love responds not only to our present needs, but to our eternal destiny. This explains why adorers sometimes receive inspirations or promptings that only make sense years later. Jesus is preparing them for a future only he can see. The most moving aspect of this revelation was what Padre Pio observed happening at the moment when someone received Holy Communion with proper disposition. He saw the host radiating with such brilliance that it illuminated the recipient's entire body from within. For a brief, sacred moment, the communicant's body itself became tabernacle-like, glowing with the same divine presence that emanates from the monstrance during adoration. This radiance would gradually diffuse throughout their being, concentrating especially in the heart, creating what Padre Pio called a throne of grace within the person. During this intimate communion, Padre Pio witnessed that Jesus speaks to each soul in a language beyond words, a direct communication from spirit to spirit. These divine communications bypass our intellect and emotions, planting seeds of grace that often germinate only later when we are ready to receive them. This explains why many people find that insights and resolutions emerge spontaneously in the hours or days following communion or adoration, seemingly from nowhere. Perhaps the most consoling aspect of what Padre Pio saw was how tenderly Christ responds to those who come to him in their brokenness. Far from being repelled by our wounds and failings, Jesus is drawn to them, much as a physician is drawn not to the healthy parts of a patient, but to the areas needing healing. Padre Pio observed that the more honest we are about our weakness and need, the more powerfully Christ's healing presence flows into those very areas. It is precisely your wounds, he would counsel, that attract his mercy most strongly. Don't hide them, present them to him with childlike trust. How can we apply these revelations to our own spiritual journey? Padre Pio offered several practical steps. First, prepare your heart before approaching the Blessed Sacrament. Spend a few moments in silent recollection, perhaps in your car or outside the church, letting go of distractions and setting your intention. Second, position yourself physically in a way that expresses reverence, kneeling if possible, with hands folded or open in reception. Your body's posture helps focus your spirit. Third, begin with an act of faith, acknowledging Christ's true presence. Lord, I believe you are truly here. Fourth, simply be present. Don't feel pressured to fill the time with words or formal prayers. Sometimes the most profound adoration is wordless contemplation. Padre Pio particularly recommended gazing directly at the host, what he called heart-to-heart communication. He suggested imagining the barriers between you and Christ dissolving, allowing his divine life to flow freely into yours. For those who struggle with distraction, he advised gently returning your attention to the present moment whenever you notice your mind wandering, without frustration or self-criticism. Distractions during prayer, he would console his spiritual children, when handled with peaceful persistence, can actually deepen your humility and dependence on God's grace. Another practical recommendation was to bring specific intentions to adoration, but to hold them with open hands. Present your needs, concerns, and the people you carry in your heart, then surrender them completely to divine wisdom. Padre Pio observed that our surrender often opens channels of grace that our specific requests might inadvertently limit. For those with busy schedules, Padre Pio emphasized that even brief visits to the Blessed Sacrament bear tremendous fruit. It is better, he would say, to spend 5 minutes with deep reverence than an hour with a distracted mind. This counsel liberates us from believing that only lengthy adorations are valuable. A momentary heart connection with the Eucharistic Lord can sustain us throughout our day. Perhaps his most practical advice concerned consistency. Rather than making dramatic commitments that prove unsustainable, Padre Pio recommended establishing a regular rhythm of adoration that can be maintained over time. Spiritual growth, he taught, comes not from occasional intensity, but from faithful persistence. This might mean a weekly holy hour, a brief daily visit, or something uniquely suited to your life circumstances. For those unable to physically visit a church due to illness, distance, or other constraints, Padre Pio taught the practice of spiritual communion and remote adoration. He assured his spiritual children that sincere desire to be united with the Eucharistic Lord creates a genuine spiritual connection, regardless of physical proximity. The Lord sees the heart, he would say, and honors its deepest intentions. As we draw this sacred journey to a close, remember that the most important element in Eucharistic adoration isn't what we do, but what we allow Christ to do in us. Padre Pio saw that the greatest miracles happened not to those who performed elaborate devotions, but to those who came with the simplest, most childlike trust. Those who simply showed up, opened their hearts, and said, "Jesus, I believe you are here. I offer you my presence. Do in me whatever you will." The mystical reality of the Blessed Sacrament that Padre Pio witnessed is accessible to each of us. Though we may not see with his supernatural vision, we can experience the same transformative power. The angels still gather, the rays of grace still extend, and Christ still reaches out from the host to touch each adorer personally. This isn't ancient history or distant theology. It's happening right now, in this very moment, in tabernacles throughout the world. Think of all we've explored today: the angelic presence surrounding the Eucharist, the rays of healing light, the divine imprinting that reconfigures our souls, and most profoundly, Christ's personal emergence to embrace each adorer. These realities continue whether we perceive them or not. They are independent of our feelings, transcending our limited senses, yet intimately available to our faith. Padre Pio's life was a testament to the power of Eucharistic devotion. From his earliest childhood, he was drawn to the tabernacle, often spending hours in silent communion with the hidden Jesus. This relationship formed him, sustained him through terrible trials, and empowered his extraordinary ministry of healing and reconciliation. What transformed him can transform us too. The invitation stands before each of us to approach the Blessed Sacrament not as a ritual or obligation, but as a personal encounter with love incarnate. To kneel before the host knowing that what appears as simple bread conceals the Creator of the universe, who waits for you with endless patience and tender affection. To allow yourself to be seen, known, and loved with a completeness that no human relationship can offer. If something in this message has touched your heart today, write "Adoration Transforms" in the comments below. Your testimony helps spread this powerful message to others who desperately need spiritual hope. Don't forget to like this video and share it with someone whose faith might be strengthened by these revelations. And if you haven't already, become a member of our channel family to support our mission of spreading these sacred truths that the modern world has forgotten. Your support makes it possible for us to continue creating content that deepens faith and inspires spiritual growth. Each like, share, and subscription helps these messages reach more souls who thirst for authentic spiritual nourishment in a world that often overlooks these profound realities. Remember, we're not just building a channel, we're fostering a community of believers committed to rediscovering the mystical treasures of our faith. Your participation matters more than you know. Together, we can help others experience the transformative power of Eucharistic presence that Padre Pio witnessed and lived. From the depths of my heart, I thank you for joining me in this exploration of what happens when we approach the Blessed Sacrament. May Padre Pio's powerful insights inspire you to spend more time in adoration, experiencing for yourself the supernatural reality that awaits beyond the veil of ordinary perception. Until next time, may God bless you abundantly, and may Our Lady keep you safe in her maternal embrace. Have you ever stopped to think that the greatest blessings in your life might be right in front of your eyes? If you're watching this video, it's because Padre Pio has an urgent message for you today. Many people search endlessly for signs of blessings, looking for extraordinary events or material wealth. However, Padre Pio, with his profound wisdom, revealed something that will transform your perspective forever. Before we continue, if you believe in Padre Pio's wisdom, write in the comments, "I am blessed." Your comment will help spread this powerful message to those who need it most. What I'm about to share with you isn't just another message, it's a revelation that has changed countless lives. Padre Pio, through his extraordinary spiritual insights, identified 3 unmistakable signs that indicate you are truly blessed. These signs are so simple yet so profound that most people overlook them every single day. Today, we'll explore these 3 powerful signs that Padre Pio spoke about. If you have even one of them, you're more blessed than you realize. And here's what's truly remarkable. These blessings aren't about money, luxury cars, or material possessions. They're about something far more valuable. What you'll learn in the next few minutes will completely change how you view the blessings in your life. These aren't just words. They're transformative truths that Padre Pio shared with those who sought his guidance. Each of these signs is like a key that unlocks a deeper understanding of true abundance in your life. Stay with me until the end, because the 3rd sign is perhaps the most surprising of all. It's something you might have right now without even realizing. It's one of the greatest blessings you could receive. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly felt blessed? Think about that moment. Was it when you received something material, or was it during a simple, ordinary moment that suddenly felt extraordinary? Padre Pio understood something profound about blessings that many of us take years to realize. The most precious blessings often disguise themselves as ordinary parts of our daily lives. In his years of spiritual guidance, Padre Pio encountered thousands of people searching for signs of blessings in their lives. Some came to him seeking material prosperity, others looking for miraculous interventions. But what he consistently taught them, and what he continues to teach us today, is that true blessings often hide in plain sight. The most beautiful and natural manifestations of blessings, Padre Pio would say, are found in the simplest aspects of our lives. He understood that many people spend their entire lives searching for extraordinary signs while overlooking the profound blessings that surround them every day. Consider this. Have you ever noticed how we often take for granted the very things that others pray for? This is exactly what Padre Pio wanted us to understand. The signs of blessings he identified aren't dramatic or spectacular. They're deeply meaningful aspects of life that we sometimes fail to recognize as the precious gifts they truly are. These 3 signs Padre Pio spoke about aren't just markers of good fortune. They're foundations of a truly rich life. And here's what makes them so special. They're available to everyone, regardless of their financial situation, social status, or life circumstances. These blessings transcend material wealth and worldly success. As we explore each of these signs, I want you to think about your own life. You might discover that you're far more blessed than you ever realized. Remember, Padre Pio taught us that recognizing our blessings is the first step toward living a more fulfilled and grateful life. Let's talk about the first sign of blessing that Padre Pio identified: family. But before you think about the perfect family you see in movies or social media, let me share something important that Padre Pio taught. Family isn't about perfection, it's about presence and connection. When Padre Pio spoke about family as a blessing, he wasn't referring to a flawless family unit where everyone gets along perfectly. Instead, he spoke about something much more real and profound: the precious gift of having people in your life who care about you, who stand by you through both joy and hardship. You see, Padre Pio understood that family extends beyond blood relations. He would often say that family includes those souls who choose to walk beside us in life, trusted friends, mentors, and even those who come into our lives precisely when we need them most. Think about the people in your life who celebrate your victories and help you through your struggles. These are your family, your blessing. What makes this blessing so special is its power to transform ordinary moments into extraordinary memories. It's in the simple things: sharing a meal together, a phone call that lifts your spirits, someone remembering your birthday, or just having someone to talk to at the end of a long day. These moments might seem routine, but they're actually sacred gifts that many long for. Padre Pio would often compare family to a garden that needs daily tending. Some days, the garden might face storms or drought, but with care and patience, it continues to grow and flourish. He taught that even in families where there's conflict or misunderstanding, the very existence of these relationships is a blessing that offers opportunities for growth, forgiveness, and love. Remember those moments when someone from your family, whether by blood or by choice, was there for you when you needed them most. That's not coincidence. That's the blessing Padre Pio spoke about. It's in the cousin who checks on you regularly, the friend who's become like a sister, or the parent who still worries about you no matter your age. Even if your family situation isn't ideal, or if you've experienced loss or separation, Padre Pio's wisdom reminds us that family can take many forms. Sometimes, the family we create through friendships and meaningful connections can be just as powerful as the one we're born into. The blessing isn't in the perfect family structure. It's in having people who make your life journey less lonely. What truly matters is not the size of your family or how often you see them, but the knowledge that there are people in your life who care about your well-being, who pray for you, who think about you, and who would be there if you needed them. This connection, this sense of belonging, that's the first blessing Padre Pio wanted us to recognize and cherish. Now, let's explore the second blessing that Padre Pio identified: health. But before you think this only applies to those in perfect physical condition, listen carefully to what Padre Pio taught about this precious gift. When Padre Pio spoke about health as a blessing, he wasn't referring to having a perfect body or never experiencing illness. Instead, he spoke about something more fundamental: the miracle of being alive and functioning in this world. Think about it. The simple act of breathing, walking, seeing, or hearing. These are extraordinary gifts that we often take for granted. Padre Pio understood something profound about health that modern society often overlooks. He would say that health isn't just about the absence of illness. It's about the ability to experience life in all its forms. It's about waking up in the morning and being able to face another day, regardless of the challenges we might face. You see, even if you're dealing with health challenges, the very fact that you're here, watching this video, breathing, thinking, feeling, that's a blessing in itself. Padre Pio would often remind people that for every limitation we face, there are countless functions of our body working perfectly without us even noticing. Consider your heartbeat. It continues faithfully day and night without you having to think about it. Your lungs expand and contract, bringing life-giving oxygen to every cell in your body. Your mind can process thoughts, memories, and emotions. These aren't just biological functions, they're miracles happening every moment of every day. He would also emphasize that health extends beyond the physical body. Mental and emotional well-being are equally important parts of this blessing. The ability to think clearly, to feel emotions, to process experiences, these are all aspects of health that deserve our gratitude. Even if you're currently facing health challenges, Padre Pio's wisdom encourages us to focus on what's working rather than what isn't. If you can move your fingers, that's a blessing. If you can taste food, that's a blessing. If you can hear music or the voices of loved ones, that's a blessing. Each capability, no matter how small it might seem, is a gift worth celebrating. But perhaps most importantly, Padre Pio taught that health is a reminder of life's precious nature. It's an invitation to use whatever strength and abilities we have to live fully and serve others. Whether you're in peak physical condition or managing chronic conditions, the ability to experience life and participate in it is a profound blessing. The third blessing Padre Pio identified might surprise you. It's faith, but not in the way you might think. Padre Pio spoke about faith as an inner strength that carries us through life's challenges, even when we don't feel particularly strong or certain. Think about those moments when you faced something difficult, yet somehow found the strength to keep going. That's faith at work. It's not about having all the answers or never experiencing doubt. Instead, it's about having that small spark inside that helps you take one more step forward, even in darkness. Padre Pio would often say that faith isn't measured by the absence of problems, but by our response to them. It's like having an internal compass that helps us navigate through life's storms. Even when the path isn't clear, faith gives us the courage to keep moving forward. This blessing of faith manifests in unexpected ways. It's in the hope you feel when facing challenges. It's in the quiet certainty that tomorrow might be better. It's in the strength you find when you think you can't go on. Faith, according to Padre Pio, is this incredible force that helps us see beyond our current circumstances. But here's what makes this blessing truly special. Faith grows stronger through challenges, not despite them. Each difficulty you overcome, each doubt you work through, each moment of uncertainty you face, these aren't signs of weak faith. They're opportunities for faith to grow stronger. Padre Pio understood that faith isn't about never having questions or doubts. Instead, it's about maintaining that small flame of hope even when everything around us seems dark. It's about trusting that our struggles have meaning, that our efforts matter, that we're not alone in our journey. Even if you feel your faith is small, Padre Pio taught that this too is a blessing. Because faith, no matter how tiny, has the power to grow. It's like a seed that, when nurtured, can develop into something beautiful and strong. Every time you choose hope over despair, every time you take another step forward despite uncertainty, you're exercising this blessing. Remember, faith isn't just about religious beliefs. It's about having trust in life itself, in your ability to overcome challenges, in the possibility of better days ahead. This kind of faith is a profound blessing because it gives us the strength to face whatever life brings our way. As we reach the end of our journey together, let's take a moment to reflect on these three powerful blessings that Padre Pio revealed. Each one, family, health, and faith, represents a different dimension of true wealth in our lives. Think about it. You might have all three of these blessings right now. Your family, whether by blood or choice, provides you with support and love. Your health, in whatever measure you possess it, allows you to experience life's moments. And your faith, no matter how small it might seem, gives you the strength to face each day. Padre Pio's wisdom shows us that true blessings aren't found in what we want or what we lack, but in what we already have. These three signs aren't about perfection. They're about presence. The presence of people who care about us, the presence of life flowing through us, and the presence of hope within us. Now, I invite you to do something important. Take a moment to write in the comments which of these three blessings resonated most with you. Share your story. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today to recognize their own blessings. Remember, these blessings aren't static. They're living, growing gifts that become stronger when we acknowledge and nurture them. The more we recognize them, the more they multiply in our lives and in the lives of those around us. And here's something powerful Padre Pio taught. When we acknowledge our blessings, we open ourselves to receive more. Not because we're asking for more, but because we're finally seeing what was there all along. If you found value in this message today, help spread these words of wisdom. Share this video with someone who might need to be reminded of their blessings. Sometimes, the greatest gift we can give others is helping them see the blessings they already have. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive more messages of hope and wisdom from Padre Pio's teachings. Remember, you are blessed, perhaps more than you realize. Have you ever stopped to think about the immense power that the Holy Cross holds? That wooden beam where Christ shed every last drop of his blood, that altar of redemption where heaven and earth met, that sign that terrifies demons and opens the gates of eternity for those who embrace it with faith. But tell me, When the feast of the exaltation of the Holy Cross arrives, do you live it as a celebration from heaven, or does it pass unnoticed like just another day on the calendar? Have you noticed that many Christians let this sacred day slip by without truly understanding its transformative power? Did you know there are special practices deeply recommended by saints like Saint Padre Pio of Pietrelcina that transform this day into a current of graces for your soul, your family, and even for your departed loved ones? Dear brothers and sisters, the feast of the exaltation of the Holy Cross is not an ordinary day. It is the solemn proclamation of Christ's victory over sin and death. Today, I want to reveal to you 3 things you must do on the day of the Holy Cross, 3 simple yet powerful acts. And the third one, almost no one remembers it, but it is a hidden treasure that Father Pio recommended with fervor, because it moves God's merciful heart in a particular way. These aren't just pious suggestions or empty religious customs. These are spiritual weapons that the saints discovered through prayer and revelation. Practices that can unleash heaven's protection over your life in ways you never imagined. The third practice especially holds such power that when Father Pio spoke about it, tears would fill his eyes because he knew the incredible mercy it releases. Think about this for a moment. Every year, millions of Catholics around the world let September 14th pass by like any other day. They might attend Mass, say a quick prayer, maybe kiss their crucifix, and then continue with their routine. But what if I told you that the saints lived this day differently? What if I told you that Father Pio had specific instructions for this feast that could change everything about how you experience God's grace? The cross is not merely a symbol we wear around our necks or hang on our walls. It's the very throne of Christ's kingship, the altar where the greatest sacrifice in history was offered, the key that unlocked paradise for humanity. When you understand what the saints understood about this day, when you do what they did, something shifts in the spiritual realm. Protection increases, graces multiply, heaven seems closer. If these teachings touch your heart, write Holy Cross, Protect Me in the comments. Your gesture helps this message reach more people who need to discover these forgotten treasures of our faith. I promise you this, by the end of this message, you will never again let the feast of the Holy Cross pass unnoticed. You will have in your hands 3 keys of grace that the saints used, 3 practices that can transform not just one day, but your entire spiritual life. The third practice especially, the one almost everyone forgets, carries such weight in heaven that angels themselves rejoice when they see a soul performing it with love. So stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you comes from the depths of Catholic tradition, from the lived experience of the saints, and from the special revelations that Father Pio received about this most sacred day. Your soul is about to receive weapons of light that will serve you not just on September 14th, but throughout your entire journey toward eternity. The Feast of the Exaltation of the Holy Cross is not simply a liturgical memory. It is the solemn proclamation of Christ's victory over sin and death. Ever since St. Helena, mother of Emperor Constantine, found the holy wood in Jerusalem, Christians understood that this sign was not an ornament, but a banner of salvation. The saints kissed it with tears, carried it on their chests, raised it in processions like someone showing the key to heaven. When St. Helena discovered the true cross in the year 326, something extraordinary happened. The wood that had been buried and forgotten suddenly became the most precious relic in all of Christianity. But this wasn't just an archaeological discovery. It was heaven's way of reminding the world that the cross would never be just a memory of suffering, but an eternal fountain of hope and victory. St. John Chrysostom said that the cross is more radiant than the sun, because in it Christ conquered death. These weren't just beautiful words from a great preacher. They were the testimony of a man who saw with spiritual eyes what many miss with their physical sight. The cross doesn't just represent what happened 2,000 years ago. It represents what continues to happen every single day in the lives of those who embrace it with faith. And Father Pio, marked in his own flesh by the stigmata of the Passion, knew that embracing the cross was the most direct path to the heart of Jesus. For 50 years, those sacred wounds bled on his hands and feet, making him a living reminder that the cross is not just something we contemplate, but something we must live. Every day, Father Pio experienced in his own body what Christ suffered on Calvary. And from that experience came his profound understanding of how to honor the Holy Cross. Think about the moment when Helena's workers broke through the earth and found that sacred wood. Imagine the reverence, the awe, the recognition that they were touching the very instrument of humanity's redemption. From that day forward, Christians began to understand that certain dates carry special spiritual weight, that heaven itself marks some days as extraordinary opportunities for grace. The early Christians didn't celebrate this feast casually. They prepared for it with fasting and prayer, understanding that when the Church Universal focuses its attention on the cross, something powerful happens in the spiritual realm. Demons flee, graces multiply. The veil between heaven and earth becomes thinner. This is why the saints approach this day with such reverence and why they developed specific practices to honor it properly. Father Pio often spoke about how the cross was his greatest teacher. While other spiritual directors pointed their disciples to books or lengthy theological treatises, Padre Pio would simply direct their gaze to the crucifix. There, he would say, is the university where you will learn everything you need to know about love, about sacrifice, about victory over evil. But here's what most people don't realize. The saints didn't just honor the cross in general terms. They had specific practices, particular prayers, concrete actions that they performed especially on this feast day. These weren't random devotions they invented. These were practices that came through prayer, through revelation, through their deep communion with Christ crucified. The cross has always been the great sign of contradiction. To the world, it represents failure and defeat. To those with faith, it represents the greatest victory in history. To demons, it represents their ultimate downfall. To souls in need of grace, it represents an inexhaustible fountain of mercy. This is why honoring it properly, especially on its feast day, releases such power. What I'm about to share with you comes from this rich tradition of the saints, from their lived experience of the cross's power, and especially from the insights that Father Pio gained through his mystical participation in Christ's Passion. These three practices aren't just pious suggestions. They are spiritual technologies that the saints discovered and tested in their own lives, finding them to be extraordinarily effective channels of divine grace. The first thing you must do on the day of the Holy Cross is contemplate. Stop before a crucifix, whether in your home, in your parish, or even at your workplace, and dedicate deep time to looking at Christ nailed there. Don't do it lightly. Don't see it as just another image. Ask him, Lord, for whom did you suffer these wounds? What do you want to tell me today with your silence on the cross? This isn't the kind of quick glance we usually give to religious images as we pass by. This is what the mystics call contemplative gazing, the kind of looking that allows Christ's love to penetrate the deepest corners of your heart. When you truly contemplate the crucified one, you're not just observing a historical event. You're participating in the eternal moment when divine love conquered human sin. Saint Faustina confessed that she found the greatest spiritual light in those moments of contemplation, when she let the gaze of crucified Jesus penetrate her soul. She would spend hours before the cross, and in those sacred encounters, she received some of the most profound revelations about God's mercy that the Church has ever known. Her famous prayer, "Jesus, I trust in you," was born from those deep moments of contemplating Christ crucified. But here's what makes this contemplation so powerful on the Feast of the Holy Cross specifically. On this day, the entire Catholic Church around the world is focusing its spiritual attention on the same reality. Millions of souls are lifting their eyes to the cross. This creates what the saints called a spiritual symphony, where individual prayers join together to create something far more powerful than the sum of their parts. Father Pio taught his spiritual children a specific way to contemplate the cross. He would tell them to begin by looking at Christ's hands, pierced by the nails that should have pierced our own hands because of our sins. Then to move their gaze to his feet, crushed by the weight that should have fallen on us. Then to his side, opened by the lance to show us the depths of his sacred heart. Finally, to his face, serene even in agony, showing us that perfect love casts out all fear. In that sincere contemplation, tears of repentance often spring forth, and right there the heart is purified. Don't be afraid of those tears. Father Pio said they were pearls of grace that wash the soul cleaner than any earthly water. When you cry before the cross, you're participating in the same sorrow that Mary felt at the foot of Calvary, and that participation unites you to her in a very special way. On this day, offer to the Lord your suffering, your weariness, your hidden pains, uniting them to his passion. This is the secret that transformed ordinary people into saints. They learned to see their daily crosses not as meaningless burdens, but as opportunities to share in Christ's redemptive work. Your headache, united to his crown of thorns, becomes a prayer. Your financial worries, united to his poverty on the cross, become an offering. Your family problems, united to his concern for his mother even while dying, become acts of love. Believe me, there is no more powerful prayer than that of the soul that unites itself to Christ on Calvary. When you contemplate the crucified one with this depth, something shifts in the spiritual realm. The angels draw closer. The saints take notice. Even the souls in purgatory feel relief because your prayer, united to Christ's sacrifice, sends waves of mercy throughout the entire mystical body. This contemplation doesn't require special skills or theological degrees. It requires only love and the willingness to be changed by what you see. Father Pio often said that the cross is the greatest book God has given us to read, and every time you contemplate it with sincere love, you're reading another page of that infinite book of divine mercy. Don't rush this contemplation. In our fast-paced world, we've forgotten the power of spiritual lingering, of letting our souls rest in the presence of the sacred. Give yourself at least 15 minutes of uninterrupted time before the cross on this feast day. Turn off your phone, quiet your mind, let your heart speak to the heart that was pierced for you. The second thing you must do is kiss the cross with devotion. It might seem like a small gesture, almost childlike, but the saints teach us that in that kiss lies an immense act of love. Father Pio repeated that the cross is the greatest book God has given us to read, and kissing it is like saying, "Lord, I accept your word, I accept your will, I accept to walk with you." This isn't just any kiss. This is the kiss of recognition, the kiss of surrender, the kiss of love that responds to love. When you press your lips to the wood or metal of the crucifix, you're doing what the early martyrs did before facing the lions, what medieval pilgrims did after walking hundreds of miles to reach Jerusalem, what countless saints did in their final moments before entering eternity. Many faithful are accustomed to kissing the crucifix when they wake up and when they go to bed. But on the day of the Holy Cross, that gesture has a special echo in heaven. Why? Because on this day, when the universal church celebrates the triumph of the cross, every act of reverence toward it carries amplified power. It's like tuning your personal devotion to the frequency of the entire Catholic world's prayer. Father Pio had a particular way of teaching this devotion. He would hold his own crucifix, the one that never left his side, and he would kiss it with such tenderness that those who witnessed it said it was like watching a mother kiss her sleeping child. But there was also strength in that kiss, the strength of someone who knew that this sign held power over every evil force in the universe. Do it on your knees with reverence, and when you kiss it, say, "Jesus, in your cross I trust, in your cross I rest, in your cross I find my victory." These aren't just beautiful words, they're declarations of spiritual warfare. Every time you proclaim your trust in the cross, every demonic influence that might be affecting your life receives a powerful blow. The devil hates the sign of the cross and trembles before a soul that loves it. Think about what that kiss represents. With your lips, the same lips that sometimes speak words of impatience, complaint, or anger, you're choosing to touch the instrument of perfect love. With that simple gesture, you're saying that you want your words, your breath, your very life to be transformed by contact with Christ's sacrifice. This kiss has protective power because it's an act of faith made visible. When the early Christians were dragged before the Roman authorities, many of them would kiss their hidden crosses before speaking. They knew that this gesture connected them to a power greater than any earthly threat. The same spiritual principle applies today in our modern struggles against discouragement, temptation, and fear. St. Francis of Assisi used to spend hours kissing the wounds of crucifixes, and from those moments of intimacy with the crucified Lord came his own stigmata. St. Teresa of Avila would kiss her crucifix before every important decision, saying it helped her align her will with God's. These weren't superstitious practices. These were expressions of a love so deep that it needed physical expression. But here's something beautiful that Father Pio taught. When you kiss the cross on its feast day, you're not just expressing your own love, you're also accepting Christ's kiss of peace for your soul. The cross becomes a meeting place where human love and divine love encounter each other. In that moment, you're both giving and receiving a kiss of eternal significance. Don't underestimate the power of this simple gesture. In a world that has forgotten reverence, in a culture that mocks physical expressions of faith, your kiss becomes a radical act of countercultural love. It declares that you belong to Christ, that you recognize his kingship, that you choose his way over the world's way. Make this kiss deliberate and unhurried. Let it be a moment of real communication between your heart and the heart that was pierced for you. And watch how this simple practice begins to transform not just your feast day, but your entire relationship with the cross that you carry in your daily life. Speaking of the power of prayer and devotion to strengthen our spiritual lives, many people, just like you, have been seeking to understand better their relationship with God and deepen their faith. That's exactly why we created something special that connects perfectly with what we're discussing today about the Holy Cross. The Rosary was Father Pio's greatest weapon, and today it can be yours too. Our ebook, The Power of the Rosary with Father Pio, Miracles, Protection and Divine Graces, is a spiritual treasure that will help you learn to pray the Rosary with more devotion and depth. Discover the miracles and testimonies of those who have already experienced its power, and understand Father Pio's most impactful teachings and phrases about prayer. This material includes a 30-day prayer guide with daily intentions to strengthen your faith, plus special prayers for protection, healing, and liberation. It's designed to be a practical companion in your spiritual journey, helping you connect the power of the cross that we're discussing today with the daily practice of the Rosary that Father Pio so deeply cherished. Don't let this opportunity pass to strengthen your spiritual life with material that has already helped thousands of people grow closer to God. To download it, just click on the link pinned in the comments. Now let me reveal to you the third practice, the one that almost no one remembers, but that Father Pio recommended with special urgency. And we arrive at the third thing, the one that almost no one remembers, and that Father Pio recommended with urgency. On September 14th, the day of the exaltation of the Holy Cross, offer a Holy Mass, or at least participate in one, for the souls in purgatory. Why? Because those souls who are already saved suffer in the purifying fire waiting to enter into full glory, and the cross is precisely the key that opens the gates of heaven for them. Jesus himself revealed to St. Gertrude that each Mass offered with devotion for the deceased liberates a torrent of souls. This isn't just pious tradition or hopeful thinking. This is divine revelation given to one of the Church's greatest mystics. When Christ spoke these words to St. Gertrude, he was revealing one of heaven's most powerful secrets. The Mass, which makes present the sacrifice of Calvary, has the power to unlock the chains that bind souls in their purification. Father Pio said that helping the souls in purgatory is the greatest charity we can do, and on the day when we celebrate the triumph of the cross, that help becomes a river of mercy. Think about this profound truth. Those souls cannot help themselves. They depend entirely on our prayers, our sacrifices, our masses offered for their liberation. They are like prisoners who can only be freed by someone on the outside who holds the key. Many Christians pray on this day for their family, for their work, for their problems, and that's very good, but they forget the deceased. And yet, what greater gift can we give them than to apply to them the fruit of Christ's cross, which is the sacrifice of the Mass? This is the practice that Father Pio called the forgotten charity, because in our focus on earthly concerns, we often overlook those who most desperately need our spiritual assistance. Here's what makes this practice so powerful on the Feast of the Holy Cross specifically. The cross represents Christ's total victory over death, and when we offer the Mass on this day for the souls in purgatory, we're applying that victory directly to their situation. We're saying, in effect, Jesus, by the power of your cross, which we celebrate today, please release these souls from their suffering and bring them into your glory. Imagine for a moment the joy of those souls when they receive the news in purgatory. Today, someone offered the Holy Cross for you. Their chains break, their flames are eased, and many ascend to heaven with gratitude. In that instant, those newly glorified brothers and sisters will intercede for you before the throne of God. It's an exchange of love. You help them get out. They help you stay firm on the path of salvation. Father Pio experienced this reality in mystical visions. He would see souls being released from purgatory like butterflies emerging from cocoons, transformed and beautiful, rising toward the light of God's presence. And he noticed that the Masses offered on special feast days, particularly the Feast of the Holy Cross, had extraordinary power to effect these liberations. This practice creates what theologians call the communion of saints in its most beautiful form. The Church on earth, that's us. The Church in purgatory, the souls being purified, and the Church in heaven, the saints and angels, all unite in one great symphony of grace. When you offer Mass for the souls in purgatory on this feast day, you're conducting this symphony, bringing harmony between the three states of the Church. But here's the part that moves the heart most deeply. Father Pio taught that the souls in purgatory, once released, become some of our most powerful intercessors in heaven. They never forget the charity that freed them. They spend their eternity grateful for the Mass that broke their chains. So when you help them today, you're not just performing an act of mercy, you're gaining eternal friends who will pray for you until the end of time. The beauty of this practice is that it costs you nothing except the intention of your heart, yet it accomplishes something that no earthly wealth could achieve. It participates in the liberation of souls and the expansion of heaven's population. Father Pio used to say, "Help the souls in purgatory. Make them feel that they are not forgotten." On the day of the Holy Cross, this help becomes a torrent of mercy that flows from Calvary directly to their place of purification. Before we continue, I want to share something from my heart with you. This channel exists because we believe that the teachings of Father Pio and the treasures of our Catholic faith need to reach every corner of the world. We're not just creating content. We're building a spiritual family, a community of souls united by love for Christ and devotion to His saints. Your support means everything to this mission. When you hit that like button, you're telling us that these teachings matter to you. When you share this video, you're becoming a missionary of Father Pio's wisdom. And when you become a member of our channel, you're joining hands with us in spreading the light of authentic Catholic spirituality to hearts that are hungry for truth. We need you in this mission. Together, we can ensure that the forgotten practices of the saints, the powerful devotions that transformed ordinary people into heroes of faith, continue to live and flourish in our modern world. Please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear about the power of the Holy Cross, and consider becoming a member of our growing spiritual family. The day of the Holy Cross, then, cannot pass you by unnoticed. This day, contemplate deeply the crucified one, kiss him with love, and participate in Mass offering it for the deceased. 3 simple acts, 3 keys of grace, 3 paths of protection and mercy. Don't let the enemy distract you or make you think it's a distant feast. On this day, heaven opens in a particular way to pour out graces upon those who honor the cross. These aren't just religious exercises we perform out of habit. These are spiritual technologies that the saints discovered and tested in the laboratory of their own souls. When you contemplate Christ crucified with sincere love, when you kiss the cross with reverence, when you offer Mass for the souls in purgatory, you're participating in the same current of grace that transformed ordinary men and women into saints. Father Pio lived these practices every day, but he understood that certain feast days carry special weight in heaven. The day of the exaltation of the Holy Cross is one of those days when the spiritual atmosphere becomes charged with possibility, when graces that might normally take months to receive can flow in abundance to prepared hearts. Remember the vision that St. Andrew the Apostle had when he saw his own cross approaching. "O precious cross, so long desired, with joy and confidence I come to you." This is the attitude that should fill our hearts on September 14th. Not fear of sacrifice, but joy at the opportunity to unite ourselves more closely to the heart of our salvation. The cross has always been the great sign of contradiction. To the world, it represents failure and defeat. To those with faith, it represents the greatest victory in history. To demons, it represents their ultimate downfall. To souls in need of grace, it represents an inexhaustible fountain of mercy. When you honor it properly, especially on its feast day, you're aligning yourself with heaven's perspective rather than earth's confusion. Think about what happens when millions of Catholics around the world perform these 3 practices on the same day. Think about the symphony of prayer rising to heaven, the multitude of souls being released from purgatory, the countless acts of love directed toward the crucified Christ. You have the opportunity to be part of something magnificent, something that echoes through eternity. This day of the Holy Cross can be a before and after in your spiritual life, if you live it with faith, with love, and with that small spark of sacrifice that the saints teach us. Don't let it pass. Embrace the cross, and the cross will embrace you with the eternal promise of heaven. I invite you in the comments, write your intention for this day of the Holy Cross. Tell us who you want to entrust in the Mass, what cross you carry in your life and wish to unite to Christ's, and share this message with those you love. Let us all know that in the cross is victory, peace, and hope. Your participation in these comments creates a beautiful network of prayer intentions that rises like incense before the throne of God. When thousands of souls unite their intentions on the Feast of the Cross, heaven takes notice. Angels gather these prayers like precious flowers and present them to Christ, who sees in them the fruit of his sacrifice on Calvary. The saints are waiting to see what you will do with this knowledge. Father Pio, from his place in glory, is interceding for everyone who takes these teachings seriously and puts them into practice. The souls in purgatory are hoping that you will remember them in your Mass on September 14th. And Christ himself, from his throne of glory, is ready to pour out blessings upon those who honor his cross with sincere devotion. Don't be among those who let this feast pass like any other day. Be among those who understand that certain moments in the liturgical year are charged with special grace, that heaven marks some days as extraordinary opportunities for spiritual advancement. Let September 14th be the day when your relationship with the cross deepens forever, when you discover for yourself the power that transformed martyrs into victors and ordinary believers into saints.